Hello, everybody. Full moon event time, the last full moon of 2022, December 7th. Yes, it is Wednesday, December 7th. Thanks for joining. We have the usual co-hostesses here. So we have Darcy and Caitlin.
Hello.
All right. Hello, everybody. That's tripping me out, Darcy. You have is that the actual window or is that a mirror that I'm seeing reflection of? Oh, okay, there we go.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
window. Yeah.
Is that's parking lot that has the purple Lamborghini? Oh, no, that's the other one, right?
Let's see if we can show you guys. There's the
Yeah.
Porsche dealership right there. Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
downtown is in the background way over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the full
Nice.
moon. I don't know if we can see it. It's up there. I can see it when I crane my head out the window. So
Yeah, I sent you guys that picture when we were just down the dog park. It was as I was telling Darcy, Caitlin, it's hard to do it justice, when you take nature
Mhm.
photos, sometimes it doesn't translate, but it was massive. I was just
Yeah.
whoa, I have to take a picture of this. So yeah, it looked really cool. Just summited that the riverbank, the side of the riverbank there. So yeah, it's looking really cool. And Darcy, you said it kind of followed you around this morning, did it?
yeah, on my way to work this morning to my first store, I could see it right in my windshield as I was driving all the way north. It looked pretty
That's
neat.
cool. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so we have our moon water vessels here. We are got those ready to go. Caitlin's got hers. You had that one. It debuted last full moon, right, Caitlin? That one.
It did, yes.
Sweet, sweet.
Yes.
Very cool. I love it. Okay. Anybody that's tuning in for the first time, we always go over what moon water is. I'm fairly self-explanatory, but Darcy, I like you to do that for anybody that's new that's joining. What is the moon water? What are we doing with it?
What is the moon water?
Oh, yeah.
So the moon water is water that we're putting out for the full moon that is peaking actually tonight at 11:06 Eastern Standard Time.
Ooh.
So traditionally, full moons have celebratory properties or just really good. Help me out with some words here, guys. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Celebratory is good.
Yeah, celebratory. Just blessing it with the new moon's energy and kind of putting your intentions out to the universe and letting the moon kind of put its healing properties or its energies into the water as well. So then you can kind of drink it throughout the month and get kind of a shot of those intentions that you've put into the water and that the moon is blessed.
And Kate, thanks, Darcy. And Caitlin, you've used it even for plants, right? And you've had some great success with plants, right? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Yes.
Absolutely.
Very neat. So Darcy, you've been doing that a little over a year now. You started last November of 2021. So this is your 13th month in a row, a good streak. I think I'm a little bit behind you, right? Did we start doing it January, February? So I'm coming up on a year.
Yeah.
And then Caitlin, you started joining us, I believe in the July, right? And
Yep.
July full. Okay, cool. So about half a year for you. Cool. Okay. So we got that part out of the housekeeping, if you will. Let's get into the usual with as far as what is the theme of this full moon. You already mentioned it, Darcy. It peaks at 11-ish, little after 11 Eastern. So it'll be 9 for us, 10 for Caitlin. Yeah, what else can we say? I have a page open as well, so if we can
Beautiful.
joust on factoids.
Yeah, I got a couple things. I didn't have much time to research, unfortunately, but I did get a couple things for us. So
thank you.
It is the cold moon, obviously. Alberta, where we are, we just went through one of the nastiest cold snaps I've seen in a while. So very fitting title for it, being the cold moon. It's also called the moon before Yule, which would be Christmas, the Christmas moon, I guess. And then it's also referred to as the long night moon because it's in proximity to winter solstice, which is December 21st. So it's one of the longest nights for the full moon as well. So
oh, wow. I like that.
Yeah, for sure. And then just the little bit of research that I did just says that it's because the full moon is in Gemini, which is the twins, it's not only a time to reflect on how much you've grown, but also to set your reflections or your intentions for the next year. So this is the last full moon of this year. So we're going to reflect on everything that we've done so far. my gosh, I'm so sorry. That was my work phone. We're going to reflect on everything that we've done this year and set our intentions, which was a really big theme of our Monday night call anyway, right? It was
Yep.
intentions. So we're going to start setting our intentions for 2023. So I think that's pretty fitting for where we all are with our group calls and everything as well.
Definitely. Thank you. Yeah, Gemini. So that's really cool. Yeah, on one hand, you're looking back, like doing the reflection from the previous year, and then looking forward to the next year, 2023. So it sounds like exactly the theme, but like to your point of what we're doing with some of the calls and just the end of the year, the wrap up. Yeah, that pivotal stage of the year. So yeah, really cool, really cool. I have a couple of different, actually really interesting things I wanted to share with you both and with everybody listening. So tonight's full moon is a lunar occultation, which is, it's like an eclipse, but different. So yeah, you read this as well, Caitlin. So the moon is actually going to pass the sight line of Mars. So Mars, you will not be able to see at a certain point. So instead of a, like, I guess I get the impression it's somewhat like similar to an eclipse, but because Mars is like so far away, it's like a tiny little dot, and then the moon just sort of kind of passes it. It won't be, quite as impressive as like a moon or a sun eclipse, obviously, from our perspective, anyways. So that's kind of cool. So it's Mars occultation. The cold moon meets Mars. So on this the evening of December 7th, the full moon will meet planet Mars. In most of North America, we will be able to see the moon drift very, very closely to Mars and then obscure it entirely. This is an astronomical event called the lunar occultation. I feel like I'm saying that. It's a weird word. Yeah. So the show starts only a few hours after sunset. So it perhaps has already happened. And yeah, so that is basically the other fact I wanted to bring to the table tonight. Caitlin, do you have anything else that you read that we haven't touched on, or?
No, that covers it. Definitely interesting though with the reflection and intention, because even though it seems like, of course, like I've definitely noticed that energy as of recently without connecting those things together. And yeah, so it's interesting and just like really solidifies the setting of that intention, and also how it's connected to reflecting back to this year as well. So found that interesting.
Definitely interesting. And it's I find it funny too, though, because we talk a lot about staying present, which is like the exact, it's like in the middle of that, right? It's not looking back, it's not looking forward, it's being in the now. But I mean, in the work that we're doing here, specifically with what we're trying to get out of the moon water and having like a moon event like this, there's obvious, you're putting like some degree of future energy into it, right? Some with the intentions, as we mentioned, but intentions I find to be a lot more flexible, than it's curious. It's interesting to think. It's like goals, or if you have, things are a little more tangible. Like, I know that, like, Darcy, you've asked for specific things, and then you've also just used like energy, like, hey, I want more, like when we talk about like intangible versus intangible. So it's and both seem to be quite effective. So yeah, I'm in that's that spot where I'm developing this desire to put more energy into what I want to experience versus the specifics of like, objective things that I want. But at the same token, then when you hear about it, it's like the more specific you ask the universe for something, the more specific the results will be. So there's kind of a bit of a duality or balancing act to do between the two. That's my take on it anyways. Yeah. What are you interested? What else do you guys think about that? Darcy, what is your take on that whole?
Yeah, we've talked about this quite a bit over the last year since we've been doing these. I've asked for some pretty hefty things and seen some really good success for it. So I'm quite happy with how everything's gone and everything. I feel naked not having my moon water vessel with me this time. It was on my list. It was on the counter and I still somehow forgot it. So please put some powers in there for me.
Oh, yes.
I was gonna
Give her a
give my
good home.
intention to you for this one, so maybe
Yeah, for
it'll go
sure.
better that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was also gonna say too, specifically for Caitlin, it seems like the last couple months now, every time I'm like, okay, and this one means this, and this, and this, and I can just see like a light bulb moment for you. You're like, oh wait, that's why all this is like coming in my head or
Yeah.
something. It's so funny. Specifically these last two, the beaver moon and then the cold moon. Now you're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
It's accurate for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess want to mention too, Darcy, that you've had success with both just putting a vibe out and asking for something specific. And I guess that's the point. There's no wrong way to do it necessarily. It's totally, it's totally what's inside you or what's calling to you at that time is my interpretation of it.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's not even asking, sometimes it's just thanking and putting that energy back out into the universe, right? Because
for sure.
You can't take, you have to give as well. So
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes even halfway through the vessel, I'll be like, okay, I've asked enough. Thank you for everything, and thank you for just keeping me safe, or thank you for love or warmth or whatever the case may be. So
definitely, especially if it's like early on, you get what you asked for within like a few days or something. And yeah, I mean, at that point, you're like, okay, I can probably just
can't just shift your ask after.
Yeah. What else can I ask for now? Yeah. Let's go like Santa Claus on it. Oh, what else can I ask him for? Yeah. Yeah, very cool. I like the long night moon. That's what it was called.
Yeah, long night moon, because it's the proximity to winter solstice. Yeah, that was pretty neat.
That's a really cool name for like a song or a book or something. The long night moon. Or I could see like the movie, you could hear that old, the old 90s guy, the long night moon. The guy that has like the deep voice for every movie, even if it's like a comedy.
All the light we cannot.
It also there's something about it too, because like that winter solstice, like you hear people talk about like, oh, it's the darkest day and the longest day. And it gets dark so early, and it's cold, and it gives like a beautiful sense to that of like you get the moon for the longest, or you see the moon for the longest. So that's really cool too.
That is cool. Yeah, good call. Good call. So, and then having said that, when is the new moon? Because the new moon will be like the darkest sky, which would be in and around the solstice, wouldn't it? Let's have a look. Let's have a look, because it's usually
right around there.
Yeah. So new moon of December 2022. Oh wow, December 23rd. So
right after.
Ooh, so close to Christmas Eve. That would have been kind of neat. Yeah, so December 23rd, technically it says new moon is December 23rd, 5:17 a.m. So by that logic, it would be like the 22nd would be technically the new moon rather. Cool. It's very neat, very neat. And I don't necessarily, like we were wondering why it was called Beaver Moon. I don't necessarily know if we need to know, do any investigation as to why it's called Cold Moon. Yeah, I think we know why. Yeah.
It was minus 40 Celsius here in Alberta yesterday. I think we know why it was called the cold moon. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like 100 degrees warmer than that here right now. That's crazy.
Wow. Well, that's crazy, right? Yeah.
To be fair, it was like +5 here this afternoon, so we had like literally a 35-degree swing.
That's wild.
It was wild. Yeah.
Penelope is no longer gray, she's dirt.
Dirt. Yeah, that color. That nice copper color. Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. So Darcy, are you going to share your intention, or is that for through private?
You know what? I feel comfortable sharing this one. I just wanted to put out just some well wishes for some very specific people in my life. Matt, you're definitely at the top of my list. Caitlin, you're very close to the top of my list as well. Just everything that you've been going through lately. I just feel like you need a little bit of extra good vibes right now. Yeah, for sure. And then there's actually a couple that I work with. One's a store manager and one's a bakery manager, and they're trying desperately to get pregnant right now. And they would make such good parents. So I'm just really putting it out to the universe for them as well. Very cool. Oh, sweet. Okay, there we go. It's within earshot. He can hear it through the headphones. All right. I'll put that out. Yeah, I'll just do a quick story. So I wrote that new moon letter
from July 28th, that one that was like supercharged by Leo energy, which I happen to be a Leo. And then so I did a revision of that letter. It's there. For November, the new moon that's leading into this one. So between last full moon, so like the end of November. So I revised that letter. So I'm stacking those letters together. I love how this one's like sun bleached, by the way, because it spent a lot of time outside because we were always leaving our moon vessels outside. So yeah. And the two takeaways, like I boiled it down in lifted style, like the letter, and then just like what were my intentions behind what I was asking for. And the two words that came up were abundance and stillness. So abundance to me is like the first thing that goes is like monetary abundance, which yeah, that's part of it, sure. But it's also like expansion, like abundance of just anything that's like getting out of like any kind of stuck story or yeah, to me abundance it covers a lot of ground. So, and then stillness is definitely something I've been practicing, and that includes like the listening and yeah, many other things. It was cool. It was like this, I had those two words, and then off of them I had all these offshoots of the different words that like fed into them that were otherwise like themed, but they just seemed to, yeah, if you were to boil it down, those are the two words that came. So those, it's abundance and stillness are my two intentions and asks for the full moon. Caitlin, do you care to disclose yours?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been focusing a lot on allowing and feeling. So in December, a lot of my intention is to be, and listening is a big one for me, and flowing. So more of a like take a step back from like doing that, like trying to achieve, and sitting and listening deeper. And a lot of what I've been working on or working to achieve, I've realized is shallower than the true purpose that I'm feeling now. So I want to listen to what that really is and just take this time to fully solidify what I'm hearing. And then as I move into the new year, wanting to really like be super steady in that. So listening and being.
Oh, I love it.
The words I boil it out to.
Very cool. I have a question for you, because I remember last full moon you had one word. Can I try and guess it?
Sure.
Was it allow?
It wasn't. That's a good guess.
Oh, I thought for sure, because I came up so much in like your different shares and check-ins and all that. I'm like, I bet you I know the word. Okay, it wasn't that. Okay.
They're related words.
I
can tell you. It was love.
Love. Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the whole thing was like just because I've realized lately that like I am love, and like it's an effortless and it's unconditional. So it was that encapsulation of like just being love and shining last month.
Beautiful. Cool. Thanks for sharing. Now that we're at like the end of it, I didn't want to jinx it just in case, because I was going to guess halfway through. Yeah. Like, ooh, hold on, that might jinx it. Just a minute now.
That's a good guess though. And allowing came from that love. Like the love allowed me to allow, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like if you have that like one word, that central word, there's so much, like it's like the lake that all the rivers come to or whatever, right? I have that in my brain because like Darcy and I were tracking where all the rivers in Canada go, and it's crazy. Like the way that they travel like so far and end up in like a Hudson Bay, even though they're like from, in Western Canada. Anyways, totally went off on tangent there, but yeah. So that's I love how like love can have all these like words in its gravity, right, that feed into it. Yeah. And yeah, neat, cool stuff. All right. Anything else from either you, Darcy? Looking.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, looking like you're catching a nap in the chair now. All right. Thanks for joining, everybody. Full moon event. We will come back at this. Yeah. Happy holidays and such. And we'll talk to everybody for the January full moon, which actually, before we do that, let's get the day, because I'm kind of curious. Is it early in January? The January 2023 full moon. Yeah, pretty early on, Friday, January 6th. So pretty early into the year. Very cool. Very cool. Okay.
Awesome.
Happy holidays, everybody. Talk soon.
Bye, guys.